Hi and welcome. We're going to take a look at a gavotte. A gavotte Baroque dance has to be toe tapping by Handel, and it's currently on the ABRSM grade 3 syllabus. And this video comes at the request of Mark and Marilena. Let's first of all, rather than, it's very tempting, isn't it, just to launch straight in and look at the music. Let's just warm our fingers up and our musical brains a little bit. We're in the key Gavotte in G major. We've got one sharp. Let's do a scale. I'm going to go down then up. And at grade 3 I should be playing them at about 80 beats per minute. That's 2 notes per beat. So let's just do a down and up. I'm aiming for evenness. Evenness has 3 elements to it. Evenness of rhythm, evenness of dynamic, no lumpiness, and evenness of articulation. So it would be nice and even. Well, on the dynamic, by the way, you can often have that kind of general growing in a scale. I think that's really good to add that in, but it would still be an even crescendo or decrescendo, wouldn't it? Let's try an arpeggio. And instead of just doing a straightforward, I'm going to get one hand to go twice as quick as the other. So 2 notes in this hand for every 1 in this hand. That's good. Let's do one other thing just to get the brain warmed up. I'm going to play chords 1, 4, 5, 1. In G major, that's chord 1, 4, 5, 1. I'm going to do it slightly more imaginatively. I'm going to put a bass line in as well. And the third and final stage, he says, leaping for his pencils. I'm going to restrict myself to 1 octave's worth of notes. Fairly random. I'm not thinking about it. I think that gives me access to all, health and safety, to all the notes. Yes, I've got 2 B's there. Let's get rid of that B. So now chord 1. I'm doing those fingers so you can see what I'm doing. Chord 1. 4, 5, 1. So I'm having to use inversions. I can make it sound. Be creative with it as well. I think we're now ready to have a look at our gavotte. Let's first of all think it through hands separately. I'm going to go nice and steadily for now. I'm thinking do-do-dum, do-do-do. Let's see what we discover. 1, 2, 3. That first phrase, we're in G major and it starts on a G. I could do that in a different key. Let's try it in C. Start on a C, go to the 5th, and then a scale going up. Okay, let's try D. And that's getting me used to the shape. I've had to work out the shape of the pattern and get comfortable with that leap of a 5th there, which is the tricky bit, I think. Then what happens? Little pairs of notes, notice of the fingering that's suggested in the book and that I absolutely agree with too. Da 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 da, a little bit of a sigh going on there. Could I do a whole scale? Could I do it with both hands together, 2s and 3s? to do it. My brain having to work quite hard there to think what was going on there. Again, taking elements of the piece and creating little patterns and practices out of them is a wonderful thing to do. And then it goes. Oh, I know this already. Already done that. Okay, that trill, what's happening there? I quite like the 5-3. So it's as if they were semiquavers, straightforward semiquavers. Could do 4-3. I must say, for my fingers, I'm more comfortable with 5 and 3. So let's look at that whole first section now. I think there were sort of 4 phrases, weren't there? 1, 2, 3. Well, you could say there were 2 phrases, but each phrase had 2 bits to it. A question and an answer. Notice how the shape of it is about rising and then falling. It's a classic way of composing a melody. Let's do the second half now, the second chunk. So we're louder here, aren't we? 1, 2, 3. I think we're in the minor here, aren't we? Okay, let's go slowly through that bit. The first bit is all moving by step, isn't it? And then... and the trill there on the beat. A little, very delicate. Make sure the note's nice and clear. It's not a mad rush. Da-la. Let's carry on. Ah, we know this. Quietly. And the fingering at the end there will be important because we've got the black key, we've got our F sharp to work around. So the thumb there will be crucial, and then and at that point I'd leave the hand where it was so that the top one is with the 5th finger. 5, 2, 3. Let's go through that. Bit more, bit more, bit more. That trill exactly the same as the trill we did in bar 7 earlier, we've looked at. Let me go through that whole of that second half now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Because it's quite slow at the moment, that's why the trill sounds as if it's not quite a trill, because it's at a practice tempo. Now let's think through the left hand. This is a piece in 2 parts, isn't it? One line of music here, another line of music here. This is clearly melody, the stuff you'd sing. This is clearly an accompaniment. And I think there's a crotchet on every beat. Just rock steady, junk, junk, junk. He's got a walking bass. If you listen to jazz music, you'll know exactly what that is. Quite a lot of leaps of an octave, aren't there? Why don't I start off by getting my hand to just do a scale in octaves? And I going to can back down again, starting with the thumb. Okay, that whole octave thing will be really useful. Now let's read it through. 1, 2, 3, 4. Octave. Lots of octaves, some movements of the hand as well to find different positions. Take your time, and notice I'm not playing it legato. Instead, I'm imagining perhaps I'm on an organ and I'm playing with just my toes. This is a gap, slight gap between the notes. Or I'm imagining I'm playing a bassoon, boom, 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 with a different breath, a different articulation for each note. I think that's probably what we want. But when I perform it at the end, you might want to just have a listen, because I think if we did that all the time, it could get a bit monotonous. Perhaps sometimes we will want to legato the notes in our left hand. And that's part of the fun of creating our own interpretation, and I'll leave you to think about that. Let's just run through the second half, see what crops up. 1, 2, 3. Perhaps a bit of legato there. Lots of octaves, aren't there? Scale. Fifth under there. Ooh. Just like the exercises we did at the start. Huge leap, isn't there? From that D to that G. So take your time, but there shouldn't be too many surprises there. And the fingering in the ABRSM booklet makes perfect sense, I think. Let's now think it through, both hands together, nice and steadily, and see what the difficulties are with putting them together. 1, 2, 3. There's definitely a sense of leaning up to that G, isn't there? Da 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 dum ba ba bum. You've arrived when you get to that G. Sing it. If you sing a phrase through, hum a phrase through, that'll give you an idea of how we ought to be playing it. So notice I instinctively did slightly more legato for that bit. So that phrase is a difficult one. Hands are moving a lot. We've got some sharp in our left hand, and we've got the anxiety of the trill potentially. And these are absolutely together, the G with the A, again, just as if they were semiquavers. Yeah, I'm tempted to put the third on that, I must say. I found myself... That works as well, doesn't really matter. I did a wrong fingering in the right hand there, didn't I? Because I ran out of fingers. Let's go through that bit again. Second on the F sharp. And at this point the hand stays still. Or For the exam, of course, we don't play the repeats, but if you're playing it in a concert or you're doing your own YouTube channel, I would definitely pop the repeats in. Let me now just run it through at the speed indicated in the booklet, which is 126 beats per minute. Which sounds like this. Yes, no, I'm not going to leave the metronome on. Okay. So there we go, a beautiful gavotte. It has to have a strong sense of rhythm and drive. We've looked at the phrasing of it as well, and the accompaniment line being basically detached, I think. Not staccato, but just slightly detached between those left-hand notes. And we can do all those dynamics as well. If you're thinking, but a harpsichord didn't have them, well, but we're not playing it on a harpsichord, are we? So let's make more of it and think vocally. If you were singing it, how would you play it? I would definitely be tucking down for that bit and crescendoing it exactly as the editor has put in the score here. Wonderful piece. If you have any questions on it, do get back to me. Take care. Bye-bye for now.